Okay, thank you, everyone. I can see the thanks going. All right, so like I said, we've had Mr. Karaoke as our first speaker, and I'm going to be bringing up the second speaker, which is myself. Um, I have introduced myself at the beginning, but I'm just going to try and introduce myself again to us. My name is Todulokwe Oke, and I am a materials engineer by training. Um, I've worked on different projects, but my interest mainly is across aerospace, energy, and materials engineering design. So I'm going to be speaking to us this evening about a topic that is very dear to my heart, and that's when we're picking topics for this conference. Can we hear me, please? I'm not sure if we can hear me. Let me just check if we can hear me. Can you hear us? Okay, brilliant. Okay, I'm being told you can hear me. That's very interesting. So yes, when coming up with the topic for this, when we're choosing the topic for this presentation, the EIA team, one of the things that came as a concern to us is talking about how the modern engineer is supposed to operate. And this is because most times as Nigerian engineers, we find ourselves in a dilemma whereby we are trying to be engineers of the 21st century, and at the same time, we are being held back by our environment, or we're being held back by so many other things. So this evening, my topic, which is we'll be talking about what does it mean? What do you need to actually be a modern engineer? No matter where you are in the world, what is that thing that you need that can make a difference, that can set you apart? And I'm just going to be sharing that with us now. I'm just trying to share my screen. All right, so yeah, we're back. All right. Okay, yes, I think we're there now. Good. All right, so what is the modern engineer's toolbox? Let me just, I've said a bit about myself, but I'm a chartered materials engineer. I have been working and working training engineers for over a while now. And I work with a design and consultancy firm in London, which is actually working on engineering design with projects across different parts of the world. I run an NGO, which is the EIA, Engineering Empowerment Initiative for Africa, and I'm very passionate about personal development. And I believe from me today, you're going to learn what it is, how I've been able to modernize my engineering career, and how you can modernize your engineering career, regardless of your background, regardless of your situation, regardless of what part of engineering you are in. I know that a lot of people, sometimes we talk about engineering, the popular engineers are the mechanical engineers and the electrical engineers. But nevertheless, no matter what part of engineering you're doing, materials engineering, agricultural engineering, civil engineering, whatever part of engineering that you're doing, you can succeed with it and you can modernize with it. You can actually become a modern engineer using the resources that you have by your fingertips. Yes, a little bit more about myself. I finished from Federal University of Technology, Akure, and like I said, I'm a typical, I'm a local, from local to global. That's my story. All right, so I'm a local girl that went global. Actually, I don't even. Lagos is our like London from where I come from. You get so, but one thing that is sure is that with persistence, with using the right tools, with the help of God, I have been able to actually advance in my career and to be able to modernize. And I know that this story is not different from the story of a lot of engineers. A lot of people have that passion. I had wanted to be an engineer since I was 3 years old. So it is my joy today that I can actually practice engineering. And I know that is also been the mindset. That is what has been the desire. Some people have always knew that they wanted to be engineers. Some people wanted to be bankers or anything in school. Every time I've always been asked, I think, except for time I didn't pass my further marks, and I said maybe I'll be a doctor because I didn't pass further marks then. But yes, at the heart of it all, I've always wanted to be an engineer. So it's anything engineering just makes me glad, makes me happy. And even now that I'm practicing engineering, I look forward to it. I don't know the difference between Monday and Friday, and I know it's like that for a lot of people. And I know even for people that's not their current reality, that's what they desire. People desire to be able to do things that they really desire. And I know that for you to come for this conference, you actually have engineering at the heart of it. You actually have engineering as what you desire to do. And, I really appreciate that. So I hope that as you listen to me today, you will be able to take one or two things as tools that can help you, that can take you from where you are now and change the game. These are I believe that what I'm going to discuss with you today are going to be game changers, because exactly when we're talking about modern engineering, we're talking about what it is that can actually help to change the game, your engineering game. And I hope that, you will be able to get one or two things as I continue to speak this evening. So we already know who is an engineer. If I access for the definition of who is an engineer, I'm going to get different definitions, problem solvers, creating solutions, and so many things like that. But one thing that's always been that engineers have always done over decades and over centuries is, we have technical skills. We are people that even remember in your house, for example, if you're in 100 level or 200 level or even PhD, HND or OND, once a bulb goes, if you are studying engineering, they just call you engineer. Oh yeah, come and fix the bulb, or engineer, come on, because they just believe that you should have the skills. So most of us, technical skills is not a problem for us. We do have the technical skill. We can think innovatively. We can actually create solutions. We can, and that's why a lot of engineers are really good at math. Problem solving is key for us. We have that. We really do have that. And that is one thing that most engineers have. We have the technical skill and the technical know-how of actually doing things. So being an engineer, I believe that that's the comfort zone. Everybody's familiar with technical skills. All engineers kind of like have it in creativity, innovative skills and all of that. We do have that. And that's what the traditional engineer does. And that is what the traditional engineer does. But when we come to the modern engineer, who is a modern engineer? And you ask me because I found out that even a modern engineer actually does not now need to just have a technical skill. And that's where there's been a bit of challenge for engineers to be able to transit compared to other fields. Now, a traditional engineer has his technical skills, is an engineer, and that's it. I'm an engineer. I don't do any other thing. I am brilliant, and that's it. And that is where I remember Mr. Kayode was saying in his presentation that you have to have some skills. And now the modern engineer is somebody that it is the criteria for being an engineer in this era, in 21st century, 2020, in the fourth industrial revolution has changed. It's not just having the technical skill, the bar has moved higher. Now, as a modern engineer, you need to have technical skills, you need to have soft skills, you need to have management skills, you need to have business skills, you need to have creative and innovative, you need to be current and informed. So many things that you need to do as an engineer. And it can become so overwhelming. I've worked with engineers that they're just like, can you just leave me alone? Let me just focus on my engineering. Let me just focus on engineering it. I don't want to be involved in any other thing. But unfortunately, the world has changed. The world has moved on from just concentrating on one body of knowledge without interacting with every other thing. And so as a modern engineer, what I want you to take away from here today as a modern engineer is that you need to incorporate all of these skills into your life. You need to incorporate all of these skills because it is when you incorporate them then that actually we can get value out of our engineering skills. It's good to have technical skills. It's very good. Without technical skills are the baseline, but we need to incorporate the right skills. We need to inculcate the other skills. Without the other skills, you can just be a broke engineer, or you can be an engineer that somebody was talking, I think the first presenter was talking about presentation. You've done a very good work and everything. You found out how this connects to this and connects to that and everything, but you don't have the soft skills to present it. That's going to be a disaster. You might still, be able to do the engineering job and everything like that, but you will not be able to actually maximize your potential as an engineer. So, and that's why people say that, oh, engineers are poor. I've heard that a lot. Engineers are poor, whereby in a country, people that are business managers and in the company where people are business managers or something, They actually, you see that their pay pack or what they are receiving are more than engineers. And the engineer will just say, well, I don't know how they're doing it. All I just know is that I'm doing my work. Yes, you're doing your work, but what about the other skills? And I believe that we can enrich our engineering career by actually adding on all the other skills that is needed. And thankfully, these skills are no more hard. Before, you don't learn management skills or business skills except you go and do an MBA. But things have changed, times have changed. Now, you can actually learn a lot of skills online, even without leaving the comfort of your home. So the modern engineer has to have the mindset that, you know what, I'm not just it's like you have to, people call it not even self-branding in law, like it's a self-brand. You have to be able to create the solution, package it, communicate it, manage it, sell it. You know, somebody was like asking about startup, if I remember earlier in the first presenters, this thing. So we need all of that. So for modern engineering, we need to be a modern engineer, to be an engineer that is actually reigning at this point, that to be an engineer that will reign in this century, in this decade, then you need to be a modern engineer. You need to add on all the skills. You need to add on soft skills. You need to add on management skills. You need to add on business skills, creative. Let's just look at some of these skills and breaking it down. So that's why I call the toolbox. There's a toolbox. Before, this is what our toolbox used to look like as an engineer. You have different tools in it. You know, engineering is just about, there is even a macho kind of thing. And that's why when people see me as a female engineer, people are like, you're too tiny. How can you be an engineer? Because what they expect is actually the macho aspect of being an engineer. But yes, that macho, the strength requirements and everything, but things are moved on from there. A lot of the things that we used to do, we're not doing it in a different way. So let's get into it. So the first thing that needs to be in a modern engineer's toolbox is skills, which we just talked about. So you need technical skills, you need soft skills, you need leadership skills. You know, we've talked about, like I said, technical skills is something that most engineers know how to do. They are creative, they are innovative, they have problem-solving ability. Adaptation and technology know-how is what I'm going to focus on, because I know that we are very familiar with creativity, innovative, problem-solving. Adaptation, how are you able to adapt? So a lot of us maybe graduated years ago from universities or are now even in universities, and you know, we come across new technology and all of that. What is our attitude to it? You know, because what is happening is the world is changing per time. Like I said it before in one of my classes, that the core principles of engineering do not change, but the application and the way we are adapting those technologies are changing. So there is a time that, you know, if we wanted to save something, we save it on a floppy diskette. Later it was a disk. Now it is a memory card. Now it is, you know, you can save up to, you know, I was laughing with my husband and saying that he said his first laptop, the memory of my current phone was the memory of his first laptop. Can you imagine? So that is technology changing per time. So as an engineer, you need to be on track, you know, with technology that is changing. Find out how technology is changing and be able to adapt to it. For example, if at your workplace, in fact, there is an example I'm going to give. I went to a factory once, and they have this PLC, mechanical engineers will understand what I'm talking about. They have this PLC system whereby there was an automated machine learning, machine configuration which they configure all their machines to be working. And it was working, and then in one corner, there was this very old lathe machine. And I saw a very old man bent over it. And I'm like, why is this lathe machine here when you have all of this new one? What are you doing with this old lathe machine? And they said to me, oh, unfortunately, this man has spent so long in the company and is about to retire, and he has not been able to adapt to the new technology. So the company, even though using that lathe machine is not profitable for the company, what they have just done is, because of long service, because that man has been there, long service, they have left him to keep using that old system. And once he retires, they are going to pack it up. And I just thought, oh my God, that is so he couldn't learn the new system. Now he was about 60 or something now, he's about to retire, and the company had goodwill. But what if you're working in a place whereby they don't have that kind of goodwill, or you don't even have that kind of experience with them? Will they bring a machine and will you say, oh, you know what, this is different from what we used to use, I don't know how to use it, and I'm going to use it? you know, and that sometimes that is the reason why we lost some jobs or sometimes. So we need to be able to adapt. So that's one technical skill I want you to add on today, adaptation. When you see a new machine or when you see new technology, let's start thinking about it. Some of us that have seen welding technology is changing now. There is also 3D printing, you know. So let's start thinking about if you work in a factory or if you work in a shop floor, there are a lot of technology that's changing. And to be relevant, you need to adapt. And one thing is, if what the people that first adapt to something, they are the ones that will be in front of the queue. So as an engineer, if you want to progress in your career, one of the things that you can use to help yourself is actually ability to adapt to new technology quickly. When you see a new technology, when you see a new thing, find out how it's working, find out how it's going on, you know, and I believe that that will really help you. Then the key one, which most engineers actually ignore, is the soft skill aspect. You know, soft skills are very important in this age and time. There was before whereby you have engineers bent over, buried their head on the lathe machine or on a drawing pad, drawing, not talking to anybody and all of that. The world has moved on now. We're in a world whereby there is multidisciplinary interaction. That means you have to interact with people from other disciplines. And it's very important to be able to communicate well with them. You know, find out, thank God in Nigeria, we already speak English. So even learning the English language is a barrier that has been taken away from us. So first of all, that's good. That's a good thing because in Nigeria, we can all communicate in English. So that's number one. Number two is, can you communicate instructions to subordinates? Can you communicate with superiors? Can you be a team player? Some engineers are very grumpy, you know, about it. Or sometimes I don't want to say maybe we are full of our knowledge. I just feel I'm an engineer, and that's it. But we need soft skills to survive. And I believe that, you know, there have been a lot of questions that have been asked while I was listening to the first speaker. And I believe that one of the things we need to inculcate is being a team player. Everything might not be perfect sometimes in your company. Everything might not be perfect where you're working. But if you're a team player, if you know how to communicate, it will make things a bit easier. It will make it a bit easier. So as engineers, we must learn to communicate, and part of communication, non-spoken communication also is writing. You know, can we use the Microsoft Office suites? Can we use, some people up till now cannot use Excel, cannot use Microsoft Word. Please, if you're in that category, let's go and learn. If you have data, all of these things are on YouTube that you can learn. So that when they say, oh, you know what, we are bringing this in an Excel sheet for engineering, we're going to talk about software in a minute. But I just wanted to let us know that, you know, we need to be able to have the right communication skills so that we can communicate well. Also, make sure that you're a team player. You know, I was once in a place whereby when they mention your name, you know, in your team, what comes to people's mind? Do they remember, oh, that grumpy person? Or do they remember, oh, yes, I would like to work with that person? You know, sometimes it's good that we have technical skills, but sometimes what promotes us, what moves us forward as an engineer is not the technical skills that we have, is how much of a team player we are, of how much people enjoy working with us. Because one recommendation can change everything. One recommendation can change things for you in a positive way, or recommendation can change things for you in a negative way. So please, let's be a good team player. Also, leadership skills. Now, as you grow in engineering, thank God engineers are now beginning to realize that they can grow within industries. You don't have to be forever and ever, amen, the technical person in the room and everybody's making the money decisions that you're not involved. No, let's develop ourselves. And to develop yourself, you need to be able to manage people, have empathy. Time management is so important. And, you know, I used to work with a particular engineer, and this engineer is so good. He has very good technical skills, but it does not have any regard for time management. And that costs the company a lot of money. And because of that, you know, the company tries to avoid giving him any job that needs them to deliver on time. Because even though he would deliver that job, but he will never deliver on time. Please do not be that engineer. That's one skill that we need to learn. Let's learn how to deliver things on time. Let's learn, because these are little things, but these are things that actually skills that can move us forward. These are skills that we need to have in our arsenal that can move us forward actually in our engineering careers and in our engineering company. Just a minute, please. I just want to take a sip of water. So the next thing I'll be talking about is, there are 3 S actually. So the second S is softwares. We've talked about learning. Yes, good. We've talked about learning, we've talked about skills as part of our toolbox. Now let's talk about software. Now, the world is changing, and as a modern engineer, we need to know how to use softwares. We need to actually know how to use softwares. If you don't know how to use softwares, we are lagging behind, and also, especially in Nigeria, we need to start learning. And I thank God there a lot of companies that are already using very good software, intuitive software in Nigeria. And also, as students, as professionals, somebody that's graduated, do not just think that, oh, I have nothing to learn again. I already know the rudiments and the principle of engineering. No, new softwares are coming up every time. So softwares is not just about data analysis or anything like that. There are softwares that can make engineering better and faster. And these softwares are coming up by the day. And that's how companies are doing things. There is robotics. You know, a lot of the auto manufacturing companies, even places like I don't know how many of us know Amazon, they have robots. People are not picking these things by hand again. They have robots that have softwares inputted in them, you know, that are doing a lot of the functions that humans used to do. So if we don't want to be relegated, if we don't want to be, you know, there is a mechanic workshop beside my house. And when you bring your car, you know, they just hook it up. And when they hook it up, you know, they just check everything and everything. All of those things that, you know, you were still trying to use your plier to hit the stuff and everything, to hit the plugs and all of that. You know, all of this is the computer checks it and tells you what is wrong with it. So if we're engineers that want to look forward, you know, and somebody will say, that is not Nigeria. Those things are not happening in Nigeria. Don't bother about it. No, the thing is that these things are happening, but it's only a few people that know that are taking advantage of it. Because what is happening is whether Nigeria likes it or not, we will keep having those new technology come. Somebody asked me recently, there is no light in Nigeria. Where will they sell these electric cars to? I said, you will be surprised. Believe you me, in 3 years' time, there will be people buying electric cars in Nigeria, and they will be looking for people that can repair them. Why would they be buying it? Because for us in Nigeria, buying an electric car can be, we have the money, so it can be a sign of a social status. We can be using generator to charge our electric car. Is it not just for it to charge? We can charge it with generator, so we don't have to have light. So why am I saying that? Is so that we know that the skills we learn now will put you at the forefront. Then, for example, just imagine that you're learning how to repair electric cars now, or you're learning softwares that will help you to be able to, you know, understand the softwares of electric cars when they come into place. Then you're already at an advantage because so many people are not learning it. So the few people that learn, those are the people that they are going to come to. I remember, you know, when I was doing my industrial training, this in Lagos, and then my boss was driving a BMW, and then he was going to Cross Charis, and he was telling me that it's only Cross Charis that knows how to do this particular thing, and doesn't want to take his car elsewhere. Now, at that time, my boss, it's not like he had massive money to go to Cross Charis, or maybe he could afford it, but he could marginally afford it. But what he wanted is he wanted the best of the best to work on his car. So he went to the people that did it, the Cross Charis people. So that's what I'm saying, that's why we need to learn these softwares so that whenever opportunity comes, it will meet our preparation. So in whatever your field is, whether it is a mechanical, electrical, whatever it is, there are softwares for drawing, there are softwares for calculation, there are softwares for simulation, there are software for operation, you know, SolidWorks, MATLAB, AutoCAD, electronic corrosion engineer. There's so many softwares that we can use. So let's familiarize with ourselves with using these softwares. Let's familiarize ourselves with actually doing things that put us ahead. Learning to use software, learning to use softwares in your area of interest, we actually put you ahead. So please, let's learn to use these softwares. The third S is standards. Standards. Now, because we are in Nigeria, one of the things that we don't really hear much about is standards, you know, or the standard way of doing things, or the standard, this is the way to do something. We just sometimes somebody just say, somebody in Lokoja has produced a car. Now, it is not bad to produce a car, but to what standard are we working in? Because what we don't realize, especially in engineering, for other fields, they have been able to get international bodies, different countries interested in their body of work. You see somebody do something in another area. Somebody said they discover one a Greek seed in Nigeria, and you'll find out that, oh yes, they're able to get international people to buy into their idea. And that's because those people in, agri, different kind of areas, they have been able to actually work to a particular standard. But for engineering in Nigeria, because we are not familiar with standards and because we're not even producing things at the moment, we are not conscious of it. And so when we are doing our projects or when we are doing anything, we are not conscious of standards. But I want to tell you that even the payments, you see, I think all of us will read that pay stack was sold for a particular sum of money about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Now, PayStack, even though being a Nigerian financial fintech company, was working to international standards. And somebody was talking about somebody was asking about startups. So when you're going to do anything, when you're going to start anything, or even when you're working in your company, think about it. What international standards supports this? Because that way you'll be able to say, okay, this is the way not to do it. For example, I'm a materials engineer. Oh, then you begin to realize, even though welding says you can weld anything, but you cannot weld some things to some things. That's when you begin to realize that, And in Nigeria, what are the local standards also? Believe you me, we have some standards. It's just not publicized, So what is the ISO standard? What is the SON standard for doing some things? And that way, I believe that having an understanding of standards even helps you to see, okay, this is how I can be better at my work. This is how I can be brilliant in what I'm putting out. Having an understanding of standard helps us to put out quality work. And when you put out quality work, it might take a while, but people will begin to look for you. Remember what I said, somebody said about cross-charges. They are the only ones that does this thing to a standard. And then he took his car to cross-charges, even though he could marginally afford it. So no matter what you're doing, and even though in trying to develop Nigeria as a country, let us remember to work to standard. Let's look for, there are so many places in which you can get standards. I'm going to be sharing the link with us after this presentation about where you can get international standards to respond to. Also local standard at your workplace. Ensure what are the safety standards, ensure that people are following standard. If you're somebody that has been are in charge of other people, ensure that they are following safety standards. Nobody has to go to work knowing that they might die in the process. Ensure that they are following the right standard and things are being done correctly. For people in academics, they are peer review. You can write journals, and when you write, whatever you are doing, sometimes because we are not doing things in an internationally standard way, we cannot. We sweat a lot on them. We put a lot of work. We put a lot of work into it, but we cannot share it with others. We cannot actually say that, oh, all right, this is what I've done. So when you've done all of this, when you have your skills, you are not limited, to be honest. You're not limited. If you begin to do something, people will begin to notice you. In fact, thank God for the World Wide Web. Now, if you do something, put your body of work together, or even if there's something you are researching, you can put it on something called ResearchGate. ResearchGate. And if you put your ideas there, people will begin to reference you. People will begin to ask you how you are doing it. And I believe that this is one area in Nigeria that we've not explored, because we don't believe in ourselves enough that we can produce something of international standard. We think we need the big machines or anything like that. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's just about following the core principles of validating something, saying, oh, you know what? I have done this. I have tried it. I tried this with this, I tried with this, and it's worked. So many times on TV, I see there was still a program in AIT a couple of weeks ago about a boy that created a rocket and all of that. And that was very impressive and everything. But, he just said, he just used waste material to create some of these things, which is good. But the problem is that after having created that, there is no way, he has not been able to scale up in any way. Nobody has picked it up. Nobody has been able to look at it, to check it. And this is where I wish that our universities will connect with our industry, such that when students are being given research projects, these are going to be research projects that truly reflects what the problem of the industry is, and will be able to solve them. So these are the things that you need to have. If you're going to be able to go far in this industry, if you're going to be able to go far in engineering, we need to be able to have these skills in our arsenal. So I'm just going to quickly share with us a couple of things, I think. Yes. So having all of this, so many times as Nigerian engineers, I've told us the three tools we need: skills, standards, and softwares. if you need to be a modern engineer, you need to have that. With that, you can compete anywhere in the world. You can compete with anything in the world. And so this other statement I put here, don't reinvent the wheel, create spare parts for the wheel. So many times in Nigeria, we try to do, we want to do something, but we are trying to reinvent the wheel. For example, somebody is trying to create, so many times I've seen so many cars, people creating cars. I said this car was made in Kano and this car was made in this thing, which is very good. We applaud all of those ideas and everything. But after a while, you don't hear anything more about that. And I think personally is because sometimes we are trying to reinvent the wheel. So as an engineer that's going to be thinking forward, thinking about the future, let's think about how we can make improvements on what has been made already. Let's think about, okay, a car was made using, okay, I've seen one, a car was made, somebody said the car is now using electrolytes, or the car is now using water, or all of that. You know, those are laudable ideas. Somebody came up with the idea of electric cars, and today, look at it, electric cars are working. So what I mean is that if creative thinking, we need to put ourselves in a place whereby we can think creatively once we have that creative thinking skill, and then look at it, because I think one of the major problems for engineering at times is that we are looking at solutions we're looking at creating solutions that have already been created. We are not looking at thinking about original problems and creating solutions for original problems. So as a modern engineer, the way we should be thinking is thinking about how to create solutions, how to create solutions we should look around us, look around you and think about, okay, what are the things that are lacking? And then you begin to create original solution. One of my research that I did in Nigeria, which is very interesting, and this is one of my most referenced research up to date, was we were looking at there's something called silicon carbide. You know, I'm sure a lot of us will understand what silicon carbide is. And they use it to reinforce aluminum. And they've been using it for years to reinforce aluminum. And for somebody in Nigeria, silicon carbide is very expensive. For a 500 gram of silicon carbide is quite very expensive. And so we thought about, okay, is there any way we can actually ensure that we still get this silicon carbide for our project without actually spending that much? And then we found a research that said, oh, you can actually get silicon carbide from rice husk. That is the back of rice. Now, you and me know that a lot of communities in Nigeria produce local rice and all of that. And, we just thought, okay, why not see if we can actually process this rice husk into silicon carbide? And you know what? We started to work on it. We started to take it on board. And before you know what's happening, we started getting results. So it is important that we look around us. And you know what? I remember during this particular project that I was researching, I got people to give me, I got it even for free. I got the bag of rice, I got it for free. And then, we're thinking, how do we do it? We went online, we researched on how to do it, how to characterize things, how to get it to standard. And that's why I was saying that even though we were putting a lot of effort, we were actually looking at how to get it to standard. And when we did that, we were able to characterize it. And we used it in the aluminum and we got results and we published it. And when we published that, people started referencing the research from all over the world, from Malaysia, from India, from everywhere. They started referencing the research. Now, they could reference it because they could see the transparent process and they could see that this thing followed the standardization process. And that's what I was saying about standard. We need to look online. How have they been able to? Sometimes we had to build something from scratch that helped us to characterize. But it was open, it was there, and it helped us to do that. So I just want to say to you that you can, because I think the main thing that is stopping innovation, creativity from Nigerian engineers sometimes is thinking that, oh, we don't have the facility, we don't have that thing in place to be able to do it. So I just want us to know that we can do it. We can actually do it. You can actually create something out of nothing. You can create something out of nothing. You can actually look around you and create solutions to the problem. One of the things I think is going to help Nigeria is when we start creating solutions that are fit for us as a country. Because believe you me, there are a lot of engineering researchers in the UK. There are a lot of engineering researchers in the US. that are researching to create solution to their own problem. And even some of them are even creating solution to African problems. In fact, there was some technology institute in Israel whereby they created solution for a place in Africa whereby they didn't have water. And they created a machine that actually could precipitate here and make water out of it where there was no water. They could actually collect hair and bring out water, just like sucking in hair at one end and bringing out water at the other end. So that is, they've created a solution for their own self, and they're not even creating solution for us. So how do we compete? The only way we can compete as Nigerian engineers is to start thinking outside the box. Start thinking about what do I have in my arsenal? How do I create solutions? How can I create, let's sit down, look at it. What are the problem areas? What are the problem, except, okay, if you want to create solutions for the whole world, there are problem areas now that the world is looking into. Let's look at that area. Is there a solution I can create? As engineers, I was saying somewhere today that, Isaac Newton, an apple fell on his head, and he thought about, oh, okay, what can I do with that? How can I invent? How can I think about it differently? So we need to think about things differently. We need to think about what we can make to make things better. And I believe if you start thinking about that, engineering will become of value, especially for people that are students here or lecturers or things like that. Just want to say to you, when you are picking a project topic, don't just pick this is the fastest thing to let my people go kind of thing. Pick something that you want to work on. Pick something that you want to create a solution. I'm sure there are so many problems around us every day. And that's what is happening now in the ICT space. All of these payment solutions, before we used to have to queue in banks before we can actually pay somebody or somebody can pay us. Now we sit down in our house in Nigeria and we can go on our bank app and do things. Some people did that. They thought about it. So as engineers, it's high time we stop sitting on our hands and start thinking about solution. Initially, people might not accept it. Initially, people might laugh at you. But just think about a solution and believe that you can make it work. Believe that you can make it work. And a good example, I would like to close with the example of one man here in the UK. His name is Dyson. I don't know if you've heard about him before, James Dyson. The first thing he ever created is a prolific innovator and creator. The first thing he ever created was he created a ball barrel. So this is a wheelbarrow. All of us know wheelbarrow. That thing they push to use to take load or sell fruit. Like it's meaning it has two hands and one tire in the middle, I think, yes. And this man, and then it has two ankles. We all know what a wheelbarrow looks like. But this man was actually packing debts one day and thought about it that, why is the wheelbarrow, because of the weather here, the wheelbarrow got stuck. And he said, you know what? There should be something. It doesn't have to be this hard to be able to pull a wheelbarrow inside inside mud. So he decided, you know what? I'm going to actually change the concept. I'm going to think about how I can make sure that this wheelbarrow, it is easier to use a wheelbarrow. And instead of the tire in the wheelbarrow, he actually changed it to a ball. And so that ball ensures that, the friction and all of that, and then the wheelbarrow could move fast. And that was the very first thing developed. Something that's seemingly simple. And from there, his mind, he had a creative mind, started creating other things. And as of today, you can see the pictures. This is all the things that this man has created. He has created an hair dryer. He has created a space fan, hoover, and dryer when you wash your hand on the toilet, hoover for cleaning, hair dryer, different kind of hair dryer, different kind of things that he has created. So the creative mind, a lot of engineers actually have creative mind. And I want us to put it to use as an engineer, as a modern engineer. Start thinking about, it's not even that hard again to develop your product. Just think about, okay, product development. How can I develop it? How can I do it? And I believe that because if we begin to think outside of the four walls of the traditional classroom, of the four walls of being a traditional engineer, we begin to think about the modernity of being an engineer, we'll find out that our mind will open up to ideas. We'll be able to say, you know what, even more than this job I'm doing, we'll be able to go back home, and say, you know what, I want to create something. I'm creating this. I'm adding this to this. How many of us have personal workshops as engineers? No, we do not have that because, the job has taken all of our time, or sometimes even the passion has been killed. But I want to encourage you today, rise up, take up your passion as engineers. I believe that if we begin to unleash our creativity, then we can actually help Nigeria and Africa at large to actually thrive with engineering. And I hope that with this talk, I've been able to convince you that as a modern engineer, please, you need to learn. You need to ensure that, do you have those 3 things in your toolkit? That's my question to us this evening. Do we have those 3 things to your toolkit? Do you have the right skills? Do you know how to use the right softwares? Are you aware of the right standards in your industry? And if we have all of this, I believe that it will help us to actually do better. Now, as we go into 2021, I want you to make up your mind that I'm going to be a better engineer. I'm going to actually take this career and think about it in new perspective. And, it's just like looking at it with new goggles and, rediscover your passion. There is a reason why you became an engineer in the first place. I don't know, job might have taken it, distance, education, lack of financing, whatever it is that's taking that passion away. But I want you to sit down back with it as you go into 2021 and think about, 2021, I want to do something about being an engineer. There is a reason why I came into engineering. I want it to be achieved. And I hope that as you do this, you'll be successful at it. So thank you. That is all my slide. I don't know if we have any questions. Do we have questions? All right, so I'll be watching out for the questions. And somebody said, what softwares can I learn as a materials engineer? So there are so many softwares that you can learn. For example, you can learn how to use corrosion softwares. You can learn, you can learn the general. First of all, ensure that the general basis is sorted. You know how to use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, because those are the things that we use day to day, macros and all of that. Ensure that you know how to use that. Then coming into specialist softwares, you can use things like electronic corrosion engineering, AutoCAD, Autodesk. Those are things that actually would be useful for you as a materials engineer. As a materials engineer, okay. And there are free versions of this software. We'll be sending an email after the meeting for you to be able to get some of the free. There are some companies, Autodesk, I think they offer a student version and all of this. So you can actually, make use of these softwares free of charge. Some of them have a trial period of 14 days. Just play around with it, see what it does and everything like that. And then you can begin to build from there. You can begin to work on all of those softwares. So any other person with any other question? Which rate at which information is available? Any suggestion on how we can avoid information overload? Do you mean generally at this conference, or you mean generally on the internet? Let me just know how to answer that. Okay, from the internet. Now, because of time, actually, I summarized my slide, but there was something on my slide is, when you go on the internet, what you want to do is, first of all, focus on your area. Find out what the trend is in your area. In your area. Find out how the trend is in your area of study. So there are so many things that is going on in materials engineering, in mechanical engineering. The trends are different. So find the trend. Find the trend in your own area and start working with that. Also, another thing you can do is you can go on LinkedIn, find people that have actually worked or work in your area. Look at, how they've progressed in their career. What have they done? What is some of their job descriptions? What are the things that they've done? You can say, okay, these are the ones that this is the area I want to concentrate on. So first of all, just concentrate on your own area. Concentrate on your own. For example, I'm a materials engineer, and you can do materials engineering in about 50 different ways, okay? So the first thing I would do, if I were to be looking for how not to get information overload, is to first start from where I am familiar with to their own familiar zone. So first of all, think about what kind of engineering do I like? Okay, now, but this is, for example, if I like electrical engineering, I can now say, okay, in electrical engineering, there is controls, there is a system engineering, there are so many things. So I can say, okay, you know what? I want to go and do controls engineering. Do we get? So, and then you begin to now research in that line. So start from what you know, start from that little bit of information you've picked for yourself, saying, you know what, I want to pick, because you can't be doing what a mechanical engineer is doing and what an electrical engineer is doing at the same time. So ensure that you start from what you know, an area of topic. Just think about, okay, which one do I like? Okay, I studied mechanical engineering. All right, what do I like? How do I like to proceed? Then you begin to see, okay, what do mechanical engineers become? You know, or you can just type on Google, careers in mechanical engineering. And then you begin to see different kind of careers. There are different ways in which you can go. Some people are, you know, study based mechanical engineering, and then they can actually become automobile engineers. Some people can become software engineers. Some people become testing engineers. Some people become product development engineers. So begin to just look at that. When you begin to look at that, then you begin to get another question. Somebody said, as a student in mechanical engineering, which softwares can I learn? So you can learn AutoCAD. That is, even you should know how to use AutoCAD. Autodesk softwares. There's Revit. There is MATLAB. There are a couple of different ones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send us an email of, we cannot exhaust because there are different levels of engineering, but different engineers with different softwares that you can learn in your own field. You're going to be getting that as part of this conference. A list of engineering softwares that you can learn depending on what area of engineering is. So somebody is saying, please, how do you cope with much requirement for tendering for engineering jobs? So it depends. If you're an engineer and you want to tender for engineering jobs, you need to be able to show them that you have those skills that they are asking for, all right? And if you don't have those skills at current, what you can do is you can collaborate. You can collaborate with somebody that has the skill. So, and this is one thing again that we need to embrace. Sometimes we don't have, they're asking for, you're a mechanical engineer, but you find an opportunity that they're asking for something that a materials engineer can do. Now, sometimes there are two sets of people. Some people will just leave it alone and will not bother again. Another set of people, what they will do is they will say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I can do it. Mechanical engineering is engineering. And they just go out and do it and they flop it up. But what you can do is you can start working collaboratively, okay? Look, if you're a mechanical engineer and there is something that is requiring an electrical engineer, why not collaborate? Look for somebody that is an electrical engineer and collaborate with the person, you know, and make sure that, you know, you're doing it in integrity, because that's another reason people don't want to collaborate, because of integrity issues. But build integrity, build your career in such a way that you can collaborate, you can join up with people, and, you know, you can say to them, so when you're submitting the CV for the job, if you're tendering for a job, this is not being employed for, if you're tendering for engineering contract or something, then you can put everybody's CV, mechanical engineering CV, electrical engineering CV, and you can put their CV there, and both of you are going to work together on the project. So that's some of the ways to work around not having all the requirements yourself. You can begin to work together collaboratively, and I know that this is going to work. For example, I know, let me just use another field in Nigeria that is working and they do it well, is interior decorators. So now you can give a job to an interior decorator. They will liaise with a civil engineer, they will liaise with an architect and the interior decorator themselves. An interior decorator company will take money from you and they just say, you know what, we are going to build you a 3-bedroom flat and you're just going to move in. Do you get? Now, not the interior decorator, obviously, will not be the engineer on the project, will not be the architect on the project, but they will collaborate with engineers and architects on the project such that, you know, they deliver that project as something called a turnkey project. So let's learn to collaborate with other people. Call some of your friends together. You want to start something. Say, you know what, I want to start something. Have a sharing formula of how you want, because that's the problem sometimes, of how you want to share the profits. I say, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to come up with this idea. Can you partner with me in such a way that I'll be able to get it done? And I think that way we become bigger. We'll be able to chase, you know, one can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000. And somebody says, how can I partner? How can someone, a corporate body, partner with your NGO EIA? Oh, you're welcome to partner with us. Just send us an email. Or you can send us an email, or you can go to our website, fill the contact form, or you can also send us a message on Facebook. You know, we were willing to speak with you and everything. Our goal is to ensure that we get the best of engineering knowledge possible and be able to give it to you. So everything, there are so many programs that we have lined up, and this is our first conference. So please, yes, we are open to collaboration. We are open to partnership. Let us know in what way you want to partner with us, and definitely we will be welcoming you on board. Somebody says, can you have my email? If you want to contact us, please just go to our website where you registered for the conference, just fill the contact form, and we are going to email you. Just put in the body of the, if you go down, there's something that says contact or subscribe, and tell us what you want. Inbox us there, and we will definitely reply to your message at that point. Any other question? Any other question? All right, while I wait for other questions, can we get a recording of this conference? Oh yes, it will be uploaded to YouTube, and you will be able to view it later. It will be uploaded to YouTube, and you'll be able to view it. You will definitely be able to view it. You will definitely be able to view it, so that you can think back and think about, you know, different topics, and be able to, sometimes when you listen to it the second time, you're able to squeeze more from the juice of the conference. Oh, somebody said, I'm a mechanical engineer by training, but I'm switching to materials engineering. What advice will you give me? Oh, brilliant. That's even my comfort zone. Yeah, that's fine. The good thing about engineering is the basic principles are the same. But then if you're switching to materials engineering, you need to be able to do more work than other people that initially did materials engineering are doing. And so what does that mean? You need to study. All right. How do you study? First of all, you can use the good thing. Before, we used to have to be able to, we have to go to the library before we can read anything. Now we have a library on our phones. We have the library on our phones. So just check for materials, check for curriculum. There is one very good tool I think you can use is EDX, open courses, open course learning. You know, send me an email and I'll send you the link to that. You can go on Coursera. There's open MIT courses. They have a whole curriculum on materials engineering, and that way, if you are able to go through that curriculum, learn from that, you will even be surprised that the answers you will be giving to material engineering questions will be better than some people that actually did materials engineering from the beginning. Again, because now you now have a dual advantage. You have a mechanical engineering background, and you have now learned about materials engineering. So there is this open platform learning that there is open courses there. They call it OCUs, open courses. So please, you can go online, just type OCUs in materials engineering or material science, and you will get a whole lot of curriculum. Just follow one curriculum. I think one of the advice I'll give to you is, if you see one university that you want to follow, for example, MIT, Oxford, or Cambridge, just follow one curriculum to the end before you go to another one, okay? So that you don't get confused. Just follow one curriculum to the end. And I believe that. Somebody said, any certificate of attendance for the conference? All right. Not for this conference. There's no certificate of attendance, you know, but by the next conference, by God's grace, we'll have a certificate of attendance for you to take up with you. And you can also use it as part of your CPD, continuous personal development learning profiles. Any questions? Somebody saying, what is your email address? Okay, I'm going to be typing my email address in the comment box, and so because a lot of people have been asking for that. So if you have any question, for that question, you can check for my email address. Okay, let me see if we have any more questions. While we wait for questions, I'd just like to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow we have two other speakers that are coming to speak to us, and they're going to be speaking to you about their own experience and how they've been able to actually make something of their engineering careers, and also thinking about the new trends. Because one of the things that 2020 has done for us is that it has leveled up opportunity. So don't think that because you're in Nigeria, nobody knows what I'm doing, or the education in, and one a lot of things that we also say is the education system in Nigeria is so bad, and so we think that it is rubbish. It is totally rubbish. No, it is not totally rubbish. Yes, there are places in which Nigerian educational engineering wise could improve, but it is not totally rubbish. And a lot of us today, that is our foundation. That is where we started from. It is from that that little that we were taught in engineering in Nigeria that we were able to build on. So you see, is how you build on to move forward. Is how you build on your previous skills to move forward. So these people, the two of them, will be telling us how they've built forward. One of them has a PhD, the other person is an engineer. So they'll be telling us, depending on what, if either it is academics you want to build up on, or you want to build up as an engineer in career, doing a career, they will be able to tell us how they've built up, and also what you'll be thinking about. Because what is happening now is that, especially due to the pandemic, companies all over the world are looking for solutions. So, and because now, as I am now, I'm here, I'm speaking to you in your houses, they are ready to take solutions from anywhere. So if you have solutions, the world is really looking for solutions in so many places. So if you have ideas that can bring solutions, why not? They will reach out to you. Remember, they will reach out to you. And I think that's, as engineers, sometimes we are just looking for jobs. It's good to look for jobs, but let's start thinking about creating solutions. And that's the mindset I want us to, the mindset of creating solutions, the mindset of being a modern engineer does what? Creates solutions. When you create solutions, then you get value. That is when value comes. It's not just about fixing things, you know. Don't just think about fixing things or just the job in itself, but creating solutions. All right. So tomorrow, same time at 6 p.m. Nigerian time, that's when we'll be starting. And I want to thank everyone for coming today. It's been so wonderful having you. And thank you for your comments. Thank you for everything. So if you have any more questions, you can, I've put my email in the email box. You can actually email me or email us directly at EEIA. You know, go on our website, send us a message or reply to our messages. We'll definitely reply. So please invite your friends. Today we were not streaming on Facebook, but invite your friends, let them know what is happening here. Share the good news with them. You know, bring your collaborators, bring friends that you tell them to come out here. I heard that I can collaborate with you. Collaborate with them, bring up solutions. Look at what is happening in the ICT financial fintech network in Nigeria. They are doing things, they are going places. Most times, do you see one person? No, it's a collaboration. So please, as engineers, let's collaborate. Let's make solutions happen. And I hope that you will make the best out of it. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you. With that, we've come to the end of the presentation today. Let me know if there's anything. Okay, I can see thank you. Thank you too. Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate you for coming. We do not take your time for granted at all. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment box. I'm going to just in a minute start sharing my screen of the EIA. And so thank you so much. We are so happy to have heard from you, and see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone. You can still leave your questions on the comments box. I'll leave it running for a while, and then we can pick it up and we'll start from there tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye. God bless you.